Welcome back, strategists. Okay, let's dive into this explainer and reveal the absolute insider secrets to securing that highly coveted A-star in Cambridge Computer Science. Today, we're mastering a topic that trips up so many candidates, justifying the use of software licenses for given situations. And listen, whether you're tackling syllabus 0417, 0478, 0983, 0984, 2210, or our main focus today, the 9618 advanced level, the game remains exactly the same. I want you to think of your exam strategy kind of like being a cricket captain, setting the field, right? You are the captain. You absolutely need to anticipate the examiner's delivery, the bowler in this case. Set your field perfectly with the right structure and score your maximum runs, which are your marks. The difference between a B and an A star in this syllabus literally comes down to this exact topic. Now, to really paint a picture of this, I want you to imagine two typical students sitting in the exact same exam hall, taking the exact same Cambridge 9618 paper. Let's call them Alex and Sam. When they're faced with a really complex scenario about software licensing, Alex immediately goes into panic overdrive. Alex is sitting there, hand cramping, overloading the page with raw computer science facts about open source, freeware, commercial licenses, writing paragraphs of definitions, but completely forgets to apply any of that knowledge to the actual specific scenario in the question. And on the other side of the hall, we have Sam. Now, Sam actually reads the scenario, but Sam is watching the clock, starts rushing, completely misses the crucial command words in the prompt, and just offers a really quick, baseless opinion. Oh, open source is free, so they should use that. Boom, done. So what happens? When the results finally come back, both Alex and Sam are staring at a massive sea of red pen marks on their scripts, completely confused, wondering where it all went so wrong. Well, today you and I are going to fix that.
So, looking at our strategic playbook for today, we're going to start by unlocking that A-star grade, then look at the core conceptual framework, move into the 5-step execution method, master evaluative thinking, and finally look at the top 3 examiner warnings. But real quick, before we continue, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Ace the Exams, at acetheexams_IGCSE to excel in your Cambridge examinations. Click that subscribe button and hit the bell icon right now. Okay, let's jump in. All right, Section 1, unlocking the A-star grade and decoding what Cambridge examiners are actually looking for. So we really need to ask ourselves a fundamental question here. Why do students lose so many marks on this topic despite knowing all the facts? I mean, they've studied the textbook. They know the definitions. To understand this massive gap between simply memorizing theory and actually applying it in a high-pressure exam environment, we have to understand the assessment framework itself. The academic benchmarks for justifying software license use, they require logical, highly structured reasoning. The syllabus heavily prioritizes analytical depth over superficial breadth. Let's think back to our student Alex for a second. Alex provided superficial breadth. It was essentially a massive, panicked brain dump of every single definition related to software licenses ever learned. But here's the secret. Top-performing students exhibit connected, conceptual understanding that is completely transferable to unfamiliar contexts. Let's be real. The examiners are not looking for a human dictionary. If they wanted a dictionary, they'd use one. They are looking for a problem solver. They want to see that you can take the highly specific data given in that exam prompt. For instance, let's say it's a startup company needing to distribute a new networking tool, but they're on a super tight budget. And they want to see you apply your knowledge of open source versus proprietary licenses to that exact specific context. And that brings us right back to Sam. Sam saw the topic, rushed the answer, and completely ignored the command word, whether it was justify or evaluate. These command words literally dictate the entire structure of your answer. If the question explicitly says justify, and you just describe what a license is, you are instantly capping your maximum possible marks, regardless of how accurate your descriptions actually are. Decoding the command word is always step 1.
So how do we actively move from that superficial breadth to true analytical depth? Top students use a very specific strategy. It's called the Peel framework. That stands for point, evidence, explanation, link. Think about it. When you are justifying a software license, you can't just write, open source is free. I mean, sure, that's a point, but it has absolutely zero depth. The examiner reads that and thinks, okay, and? Instead, using Peel, you make your point. An open source license is highly appropriate here. Then, you back it up with evidence straight from the text, because the startup has zero initial capital for software acquisition. Next comes your explanation. This means they can utilize and modify the source code without upfront licensing fees, allowing them to allocate those crucial funds to hardware instead. And finally, the most important part, you link it right back to the question. Therefore, an open source license effectively solves their strict budget constraint while still allowing rapid product development. It's a completely bulletproof argument. If we ran a quick 30-second drill right now, and I put a random paragraph in front of you, you'd instantly spot if it was using Peel or not.
And I guarantee you, the Peel answers are the only ones scoring that A star. Moving right along to Section 2, the core conceptual framework and how we connect the different parts of the syllabus together. Okay, to establish the theoretical foundation that the Cambridge senior examiners are actively hunting for, you have to completely change how you view the computer science syllabus. You can't see it as isolated chapters anymore. It's an interconnected web. When you're sitting there writing about a commercial software license, you aren't just talking about legal jargon. You are inherently dealing with topics like data security, ethics, and even algorithmic efficiency. To pull this off, yes, you need precise definitions. We know that. But it is the causal relationships that really rake in the big marks. For example, if I choose a proprietary license, what is the actual downstream effect? The causal relationship might be that it provides enhanced vendor support and legal liability protection, which directly leads to better system reliability for a corporate client. See how that connects? Furthermore, if you read the principal examiner reports, which you absolutely should, they specifically highlight the candidates who reference cross-topic connections achieve significantly higher marks. So, if you're justifying a software license for a new cloud database system, bringing in your knowledge of data privacy laws, and explaining exactly how the chosen license impacts data security compliance, well, that just shows the examiner you have a total, holistic mastery of the 9618 syllabus. You are demonstrating pure, evidence-based reasoning, drawing from your entire arsenal of computer science knowledge to build an unbreakable argument. All right, let's get into Section 3, the execution method, using what we call the DCEP framework. And listen, stop scrolling. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Ace the Exams at Ace the Exams IGCSE, to excel in your Cambridge examinations. We've helped thousands of students improve by 2 to 3 grade boundaries. Join them right now by subscribing to @Ace the Exams IGCSE and turn on all notifications so you never miss our weekly exam strategy sessions. Okay, I need you to memorize this exact sequence. DESEP. Deconstruct, extract, select, execute, and present. This systematic processing is exactly how you take raw, confusing exam data and turn it into a high-scoring, evidence-based conclusion. Let's do a live mental rewrite for our old friends Sam and Alex using this exact method. Imagine a 60-second timer starting right now on their exam clock. Step 1, deconstruct the question. They need to grab their highlighter and identify the command word. Is the examiner asking to evaluate, justify, describe? Step 2, extract relevant data. Instead of panicking, they pull out the specific constraints of the company given in the prompt. What's the budget? Who is the target audience? What are the security needs? Step 3, select the analytical framework. This is where they bring in that Peel structure we just talked about to build their argument. Step 4, execute with clear notation. This means writing out the comparison cleanly, logically, step by step. And finally, step 5, present with correct terminology. You don't ever write something informal like, it's the code you can see. No, you say it provides accessible source code. If Alex and Sam apply DCEP, everything changes. Alex stops word vomiting useless facts and instead extracts only the relevant data. Sam stops rushing and actually deconstructs the command word. Instantly, their answers transform from complete chaos into laser-focused, high-scoring justifications. Now, there is a super crucial concept you have to understand here, and it's called method marks. These marks are literally your ultimate safety net during the exam. They relieve so much of that immense pressure of feeling like you need the absolute perfect final answer. The examiner reports are incredibly clear on this point. Even in a highly discursive essay-style topic like justifying software licenses, showing your systematic process, your actual working out of the argument, is incredibly vital. Let's say you clearly document your thought process on the page. You identify the given information, you break it down into logical steps, you check for reasonableness. The examiner can actually award you method marks for that analytical process, even if your final recommendation at the very end isn't the absolute optimal one they had in the marking scheme. This is exactly why the DCEP framework is so unbelievably powerful. It forces you to put your entire logical process out there on the page, capturing every single possible mark along the way. Let's move into Section 4, mastering evaluative thinking to secure those difficult higher-order marks. The higher-order assessment objectives in his Cambridge syllabus heavily demand the evaluation of alternatives, the comparison of approaches, and ultimately fully justified recommendations. Imagine you are in the exam and you're faced with our first interactive challenge, a data scan. You're looking at a complex computer science data table detailing the features of 4 totally different software licensing models, and you have exactly 60 seconds to extract the core trend. What is the fundamental difference between the models? Usually, when you boil it down, it comes down to a battle of control versus cost. Top candidates explicitly identify these similarities and differences right away. Now for challenge 2, find the flaw. Listen very closely to this simple paragraph a student wrote.
An open source license is good because it is free, and a commercial license is good because it has customer support. So I recommend open source. Did you catch the flaw? It completely lacks comparative connectives and analytical depth. It's just two totally isolated statements mashed together. To fix this and get the marks, you absolutely must weigh their importance against each other using specific connectives. A top-tier A-star response sounds more like this. While an open-source license offers the distinct advantage of zero upfront licensing costs, it often lacks dedicated customer support, whereas a commercial license guarantees this support at a premium. Given the client's critical need for 24/7 system uptime, the reliability of the commercial license outweighs the cost savings of the open-source alternative. Did you hear that? Words like while, whereas, and outweighs. Those words are the magic keys to unlocking your evaluative marks.
Top-scoring candidates always systematically check for reasonableness before ever making their final justified recommendations. This brings us to a speed writing scenario. If you were sitting there with a 30-second timer counting down to write one perfect Peel paragraph, you would need to hit every single point on this framework. First, you must consider multiple solutions. Please do not just put on blinders and tunnel vision on one single license type. Second, you must analyze the trade-offs. Okay, if the software is free, what exactly are you sacrificing in terms of security updates or developer support? Third, you must acknowledge limitations. Look, no software license in the world is perfect for every single scenario. Pointing that out shows maturity in your answer. And finally, you must justify your ultimate decision with direct, specific evidence pulled straight from the prompt. It is exactly this comprehensive 360-degree view of the problem that proves to the Cambridge examiners that you haven't just memorized the textbook, you have truly mastered the material.
Finally, we are at Section 5, the top 3 examiner warnings, straight from the principal examiner's blacklist. And let me tell you, students who implement these computer science strategies see an average improvement of 2 grade boundaries, but only if they practice consistently with our weekly videos. We are diving directly into the principal examiner reports here, and this quote is a massive, massive warning. Students lose marks by not showing working. Never, ever skip showing your working, because your analytical process is just as valuable as your final justification. Now, I know what you're thinking. Showing working usually applies to math, right? Well, in a written justification for computer science, showing your working means explicitly stating the logical steps you took in your head to reach your conclusion. Don't just skip to the end and jump to the final answer. You have to literally walk the examiner through your brain. Show them exactly how you weighed the costs against the benefits to build your final case. And here it is, the official blacklist. These are the fatal mistakes that constantly trip up even the smartest students. Trap number 1, using the completely wrong framework for the given context. Trap number 2, forgetting to check boundary conditions in edge cases. Ask yourself, what happens if this software is suddenly used internationally? How do those licensing laws change across borders? And trap number 3, this is the absolute biggest killer, providing generic answers. This is exactly what our friend Alex did. Listen to me. If your answer could apply to any random company in the world, it is way too generic. It ignores the specific scenario provided, and it absolutely will not score marks. To avoid these traps, stick to the 3 golden rules we've covered that guarantee top marks: command word decoding, Peel framework application, and your time management matrix, which really just means allocating your time logically based on how many marks are actually available for the question. And hey, here's your final reminder: subscribe to our YouTube channel, Ace the Exams, at acetheexams_IGCSE, to excel in your Cambridge examinations. Subscribe right now to at acetheexams_IGCSE and click that bell. Don't let another exam pass you by. So, before you head off to study, you really need to ask yourself this final question. Are you going to be an Alex, sitting there nervously dumping raw facts onto the page just hoping anything sticks? Are you going to be a Sam, rushing through the paper and completely missing the core command requirements? Or are you going to use the Peel and DCEP frameworks to systematically and surgically extract every single top mark right out of the examiner's hands? Bridging that gap between simply memorizing theory and actually executing a perfect, justified evaluation is exactly how you master Cambridge computer science. The choice is completely yours, but the winning strategy is now laid out clear as day. Drop a comment below with your target grade for computer science and the biggest challenge you're facing. Our team responds to every comment. Like and share this video with a study partner. Ace the Exams. Your Cambridge success starts here.